By the time a person reaches the age of 80, they can lose up to 50% of their muscle mass compared to their younger years. This isn't just a statistic, it's a critical health concern that quietly strips away independence and vitality in aging adults. With over 2 decades of clinical experience working closely with seniors, this expert has seen firsthand how sarcopenia, or age-related muscle loss, affects not only strength, but overall quality of life. Every year, more than 300,000 older adults are hospitalized due to falls, many of which are directly linked to weakened muscles. Activities that were once second nature, like rising from a chair or walking up a flight of stairs, become daunting challenges. And yet, what's truly surprising is that this muscle decline isn't inevitable. Groundbreaking findings published in the Journal of Physiology confirm that significant muscle loss can, in fact, be slowed or even reversed. While many individuals in their 70s struggle with basic mobility, a distinct group of older adults, known as superagers, continue to perform at levels that defy their age. These individuals often maintain the strength, mobility, and physique of someone decades younger. They hike, play sports, and live fully independent lives well into their 80s and 90s. So what sets them apart? Researchers at the Mayo Clinic have identified a specific set of lifestyle habits that dramatically slow and in some cases reverse age-related muscle deterioration. Shockingly, 93% of older adults remain unaware of these proven strategies. One of the most vital discoveries comes from Harvard Medical School, where scientists have pinpointed a technique capable of rebuilding lost muscle, even in people in their 70s and 80s. And yet most doctors overlook it entirely when advising their elderly patients. The sad truth is this: many healthcare providers continue to offer outdated guidance that contradicts current scientific knowledge about how to preserve strength in later years. This article reveals 7 powerful habits that help older adults retain or reclaim their strength. The very first habit addresses a common daily mistake that unknowingly triggers genetic pathways associated with muscle breakdown. Fixing this one error could determine whether you thrive on your own or become increasingly dependent on others as you age. Habit 7. Incorporate hormetic stressors. One of the most overlooked strategies used by superagers, the individuals who remain exceptionally strong and independent well into their 80s and 90s, involves something called hormetic stressors. At first glance, it might seem counterintuitive, but these short bursts of controlled stress actually make the body stronger. In simple terms, hormesis is a biological phenomenon where low doses of a harmful stressor produce beneficial effects on the body. The very challenges you face, when managed properly, can trigger powerful survival mechanisms that strengthen your muscles, increase resilience, and boost energy production at the cellular level. Cold and heat exposure. The first type of hormetic stress that superagers use involves temperature variation. A 30 to 60-second blast of cold water at the end of a shower or short cold plunges can activate brown fat, stimulate mitochondrial biogenesis, and increase adiponectin, a hormone that helps protect muscle from wasting. On the other end of the spectrum, heat exposure from regular sauna use or hot baths activates heat shock proteins, which repair damaged muscle cells and prevent the breakdown of protein tissue. A long-term Finnish study found that individuals who use the sauna 4 to 7 times per week experience 40% less muscle loss over a 10-year span compared to those who didn't. Intermittent fasting. The second hormetic stressor is intermittent fasting, or time-restricted eating. By limiting eating to an 8 to 10-hour window each day, superagers activate autophagy, the body's natural cellular cleanup system that clears out damaged components and rejuvenates muscle tissue. According to research from the Salk Institute, intermittent fasting can improve mitochondrial function in muscle cells by up to 10% in just 12 weeks, even without any weight loss. Overcoming isometrics. The third hormetic stressor is brief, intense muscular contractions, known as overcoming isometrics. This involves pushing or pulling against an immovable object with maximum effort for 5 to 10 seconds. These intense, short contractions send powerful signals to muscle cells, helping them maintain size, strength, and functionality without placing strain on the joints. What's crucial about all these methods is timing and moderation. They should be applied intermittently, always with adequate recovery. When done correctly, they activate key longevity genes like SIRT1 and FOXO3, which are instrumental in preserving muscle as we age. The takeaway here? You don't need to push your body to its limit. You just need to challenge it in the right way, at the right time. Start with manageable practices, perhaps a short cold rinse after your shower, and slowly increase intensity as your tolerance builds. Habit 6. Strategic protein. Timing. Most older adults already understand the importance of getting enough protein, but what many don't realize is that when you consume protein may be just as important, if not more, than how much you consume. This is especially true as we age, due to a phenomenon known as anabolic resistance. In simple terms, the body becomes less efficient at processing and using protein to build muscle. That's why strategic protein timing becomes a critical tool for preserving strength and function. The mistake. Most seniors make many older adults consume the majority of their daily protein in one large meal, usually dinner. But scientific evidence suggests this pattern misses multiple opportunities for muscle building throughout the day. According to a study published in the Journal of Nutrition, distributing protein intake evenly across all meals can significantly boost muscle protein synthesis. Researchers found that older adults who consumed about 25 to 30 grams of high-quality protein with breakfast, lunch, and dinner experienced better muscle maintenance compared to those who consumed the same total amount in just 1 or 2 meals. The 3-meal strategy. To optimize protein absorption and maximize muscle growth, the goal is simple. Target 25 to 30 grams of high-quality protein per meal. Here's what that might look like. Breakfast. Include protein-rich options such as eggs, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, or a protein smoothie. Avoid relying solely on toast, fruit, or cereal. Lunch and dinner. Add lean meats, fish, dairy products, or plant-based proteins like tofu, beans, and lentils. If you're vegetarian or vegan, a blend of various plant sources can achieve a complete amino acid profile. A 12-week study from the University of Texas found that older adults who followed this 3-meal protein strategy gained an average of 1.2 pounds of muscle without any changes to their physical activity or daily routine. Why it works? After each protein-rich meal, the body enters a window of opportunity for muscle building that lasts about 3 to 4 hours. This anabolic window is when your body is most efficient at turning dietary protein into lean muscle. Missing these windows, by skipping breakfast or eating very little protein during the day, means missing the chance to maintain muscle strength, especially in the legs and core, where decline is most pronounced with age. Habit 5. Optimize vitamin D levels. When it comes to maintaining muscle strength in older adults, vitamin D is far more than a bone health supplement. It's what some researchers now call the muscle vitamin. And yet, over 80% of seniors are deficient in this vital nutrient. This deficiency silently chips away at strength, balance, and physical coordination, increasing the risk of falls and prolonged recovery from injuries. But here's the good news. Vitamin D is one of the easiest factors to correct once you know what to do. The science behind vitamin D and muscle strength. New research from Harvard Medical School confirms that vitamin D directly activates genes responsible for muscle protein synthesis. It does this through vitamin D receptors found in muscle cells. When these receptors are activated, they initiate pathways that stimulate muscle growth and preserve existing tissue. In a study published in JAMA Internal Medicine, seniors with optimal vitamin D levels had 25% more muscle strength, better balance, coordination, and reaction time, a significantly lower risk of falls. Notably, individuals considered superagers almost always have vitamin D levels above 40 nanograms per milliliter, while the average older adult often falls below 20 nanograms per milliliter, a range classified as deficient. Sunlight isn't enough. While sun exposure does help produce vitamin D, aging reduces the skin's ability to synthesize it by up to 50%. Additionally, many seniors spend limited time outdoors, wear sunscreen, or live in areas with minimal sun exposure. That's why supplementation becomes essential. But here's where many people go wrong. The standard recommendation of 600 IU per day is too low for most older adults. Studies show that 2,000 to 4,000 IU daily is often needed to achieve and maintain optimal levels, especially when sun exposure is minimal. These amounts should be personalized based on blood test results, not guesswork. A vital companion, vitamin K2. There's one more piece to this puzzle. Vitamin K2. Vitamin D helps increase calcium absorption. But without enough K2, that calcium can end up in your arteries instead of your bones and muscles, increasing the risk of arterial calcification. Vitamin K2 helps direct calcium to the right places, such as your skeleton, and away from your blood vessels. Rich food sources of K2 include fermented foods like natto, sauerkraut, yogurt, and certain cheeses, as well as animal products such as liver and egg yolks. In summary, if you're over 60, get your vitamin D levels tested. Aim for 40 to 60 nanograms per milliliter for optimal muscle preservation. And whenever you supplement, pair it with K2 for safety and effectiveness. Habit 4. Manage inflammation. Daily, one of the most consistent traits observed in superagers, those rare individuals who maintain exceptional strength well into old age, is that they have remarkably low levels of chronic inflammation. This is no coincidence. Modern science now recognizes that chronic low-grade inflammation, also known as inflammaging, is a primary driver of muscle loss in older adults. It silently activates destructive molecular pathways that break down muscle tissue faster than the body can rebuild it, even in those who exercise regularly or eat well. How inflammation destroys muscle inflammation. Not only increases protein degradation in muscles, but it also blocks anabolic signals, the very signals your body relies on to build muscle after exercise or a protein-rich meal. That's why some seniors struggle to gain or even maintain strength despite doing all the right things. A landmark study by Tufts University found that seniors with elevated markers of inflammation lost muscle 3 times faster than those with low inflammation levels, regardless of how much they exercised or how much protein they consumed. Daily anti-inflammatory habits of superagers. Superagers don't just get lucky. They follow intentional, science-backed strategies to lower inflammation every single day. Prioritize high-quality sleep. Aim for 7 to 8 hours of uninterrupted sleep in a dark room. Poor sleep can spike inflammatory cytokines by up to 40%, accelerating muscle breakdown. Support gut health. Age-related changes in gut bacterium are a direct cause of systemic inflammation. Superagers eat a variety of 30-plus plant-based foods per week, including leafy greens, fruits, legumes, and whole grains. They also include fermented foods like yogurt, kefir, and sauerkraut to introduce beneficial probiotics. Exercise smart, not just hard movement, is crucial, but too much high-intensity training can backfire in older adults. Superagers focus on moderate-intensity movement daily, walking, yoga, cycling, and only include short high-intensity intervals 1 to 2 times per week. Target anti-inflammatory nutrients. Key compounds include omega-3 fatty acids, 2 to 3 grams per day from fatty fish or supplements, curcumin from turmeric, polyphenols from berries, green tea, and extra virgin olive oil. A clinical study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that combining these nutrients led to a 29% reduction in inflammatory markers within 12 weeks. Measure and track your progress. A simple blood test, high-sensitivity C-reactive protein, hs-CRP, can give you a clear picture of your inflammation status. Superagers typically score under 1.0 milligrams per liter. The average senior, 3 to 5 times higher. Keeping inflammation low isn't just about longevity. It's about maintaining the freedom to move, live independently, and feel strong every single day. Habit 3. Targeted vitamins, micronutrients. While most nutrition advice focuses on macronutrients like protein, carbs, and fat, the truth is this. Without the right micronutrients, your muscles simply can't function optimally, no matter how much protein you eat. Superagers understand this. That's why they pay close attention to the specific vitamins and minerals that directly support muscle strength, repair, and energy production. Magnesium, the overlooked muscle mineral. Magnesium plays a role in over 300 enzymatic reactions, many of which are crucial for muscle contraction, nerve signaling, and energy metabolism. Over 70% of older adults are magnesium deficient. A 2021 study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that seniors with optimal magnesium levels had 30% stronger grip strength and significantly better physical performance compared to those with even mild deficiencies. Superagers regularly consume magnesium-rich foods such as dark leafy greens, spinach, kale, nuts and seeds, almonds, pumpkin seeds, dark chocolate. They also often supplement with magnesium glycinate or magnesium threonate, which are more bioavailable and gentler on digestion than common forms like magnesium oxide. Creatine, not just for bodybuilders. Creatine is widely known in the athletic world, but its benefits extend far beyond young athletes. Research from McMaster University shows that seniors who supplement with 3 to 5 grams of creatine daily experience increases in muscle mass and strength, enhanced cognitive performance, greater energy output during resistance training. Even without major changes in exercise routines, creatine can create an anabolic environment that favors muscle growth and maintenance. Vitamin B12. The nerve and energy vitamin with age, stomach acid production declines, making it harder to absorb B12 from food. This problem is worsened by common medications like metformin and proton pump inhibitors, PPIs, which further deplete B12. A deficiency in B12 affects muscle energy production, nerve conduction to muscles. That's why many superagers opt for methylcobalamin, the activated form of B12, rather than the cheaper cyanocobalamin found in standard multivitamins. Trace minerals, zinc, selenium, chromium. These minerals don't just support immunity, they also improve insulin sensitivity, ensuring muscles receive nutrients efficiently, assist in protein synthesis and muscle repair. A 5-year study by Tufts University found that older adults with adequate levels of these minerals preserved up to 22% more muscle mass than those with deficiencies. Personalized supplementation. Rather than taking a generic multivitamin, many superagers undergo micronutrient testing to determine their individual needs. This ensures they aren't wasting money or missing out on critical support by guessing. Habit 2. Preserve neuromuscular junctions. When it comes to age-related muscle loss, most people focus only on the muscles themselves. But there's a lesser-known and often earlier point of failure, the neuromuscular junctions. These are the communication bridges between your nervous system and your muscles. Think of them like electrical outlets. If the connection weakens, the signal from your brain can't properly activate your muscles. And once these connections begin to deteriorate, muscle function suffers, even if you're eating well and staying active. What happens with age? After the age of 60, the brain's ability to communicate with the muscles begins to decline significantly. This breakdown in the neuromuscular connection can lead to slower reaction times, decreased balance, difficulty activating certain muscle groups, accelerated muscle atrophy. But superagers don't just accept this as fate. They take specific, science-based actions to preserve and even rebuild these critical pathways. Strategies that strengthen the brain-muscle connection. One movement that requires coordination. Basic walking is great, but it's not enough. To preserve neuromuscular health, seniors need to engage in activities that challenge balance, rhythm, and coordination, such as Tai Chi dancing tennis, ping pong. These activities require precise, repeated communication between the brain and muscles, which helps strengthen neuromuscular junctions more effectively than basic strength training alone. In a 2020 Journal of Physiology study, older adults who practiced coordination-based movement twice per week had 31% better preservation of neuromuscular junctions compared to those who only did traditional exercise. 2. Nutritional compounds that protect the nerve-muscle bridge. Certain nutrients have been shown to support neuromuscular health by protecting against oxidative stress and promoting nerve signaling. Key compounds include alpha-lipoic acid, acetyl L-carnitine, benfotiamine, a highly bioavailable form of vitamin B1, huperzine A, derived from Chinese club moss, which boosts acetylcholine, the neurotransmitter responsible for muscle activation. 3. Vagus nerve stimulation. Through breathing, superagers often engage in daily breathing techniques to stimulate the vagus nerve, which plays a vital role in regulating communication between the brain and body. A simple method known as box breathing: inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4, exhale for 4, hold again for 4. Practice just 5 minutes per day has been shown to improve muscle neural activation by up to 15%. 4. Cognitive engagement enhances muscle control. One of the most fascinating discoveries? Challenging the brain improves the body. A study from Columbia University found that older adults who regularly engaged in complex mental activities, like puzzles, strategy games, or learning new skills, experienced better neuromuscular function. The researchers concluded that the brain and muscle systems are more intertwined than previously thought, with cognitive activity enhancing muscle control through shared neural pathways. Preserving neuromuscular junctions is non-negotiable for anyone serious about maintaining strength and independence in later life. And the best part? These techniques are enjoyable, accessible, and don't require a gym. Habit 1. Progressive resistance training. If there's one habit that truly separates strong, independent 80-year-olds from their frailer peers, it's this: progressive resistance training. Not walking, not stretching, not water aerobics. Real strength training, applied progressively. Researchers at Tufts University have called it the most effective anti-aging intervention ever discovered. And with over 20 years of firsthand experience observing older adults, this expert can confirm nothing protects against muscle loss like this does. But here's the catch: you must do it correctly. Why most seniors get it wrong. Many older adults assume that lifting light weights forever, walking daily, or doing basic movement is good enough. But muscle doesn't work that way. Muscle tissue follows a strict biological law: use it or lose it. And even more specifically, challenge it or watch it disappear. Activities like walking or using the same small dumbbells every week simply do not provide enough stimulus to maintain muscle after the age of 60. What superagers do differently. 1. They train with intensity. Superagers focus on intensity over frequency. A study from McMaster University found that older adults who trained twice a week at high intensity, close to muscle failure, gained more muscle than those who worked out 5 times a week at moderate intensity. Key concept: muscle failure means the point where you can't complete another rep with proper form. Reaching this point triggers the release of anabolic signals that stimulate muscle repair and growth for up to 72 hours after the workout. 2. They focus on compound movements. Superagers don't waste time with isolation exercises like bicep curls. Instead, they prioritize compound movements that work multiple muscle groups at once. Squats, deadlifts, rows, presses, pulls. These exercises trigger a larger hormonal response and promote full body functionality, critical for balance, coordination, and daily tasks. Even better, these moves can be adapted to suit mobility levels and joint concerns. 3. They apply progressive overload. This means systematically increasing the difficulty over time, either by adding weight, reps, sets, or time under tension. If you do the same workout over and over, your muscles will plateau. Superagers track their workouts and push themselves just a little bit more each week. 4. They emphasize the eccentric phase. The eccentric phase is the lowering part of a movement, like lowering a dumbbell or descending into a squat. It places greater tension on muscle fibers, which is incredibly effective for strength gains, especially in older adults. Best of all, it's easier on the joints and safer for seniors with arthritis or limited mobility. 5. They start smart, then scale. Superagers don't dive in recklessly. They start at their current level, often with guidance from a trained professional, and build from there. Research from the University of Alabama showed that seniors in their 70s who began progressive resistance training gained an average of 3.3 pounds of muscle, improved strength by 35%, saw benefits in blood sugar control, bone density, and even cognitive function, all within just 12 weeks. The biggest mistake? Not starting at all. The most dangerous belief among seniors is thinking that resistance training is risky or not for them. The real risk is not doing it. Without resistance training, muscle mass continues to shrink, leading to frailty, increased fall risk, and eventual loss of independence. The solution? Just 2 30-minute strength sessions per week, done properly, can radically change the aging process. Let's take a step back and look at the big picture. Through decades of clinical observation and evidence-based research, it's become clear. Aging doesn't have to mean weakness, frailty, or dependence. In fact, many people in their 70s, 80s, even 90s are rewriting what it means to grow older. They are walking proof that muscle strength, mobility, and independence can be preserved, and in many cases, regained. These are the 7 habits that make that possible. Incorporate hormetic stressors, short bouts of cold, heat, fasting, and isometric contractions can strengthen muscle at the cellular level. Strategic protein timing. Spread protein intake evenly across the day to overcome anabolic resistance and maximize muscle synthesis. Optimize vitamin D levels. This muscle vitamin plays a direct role in strength, balance, and coordination, especially when paired with vitamin K2. Manage inflammation daily. Chronic low-grade inflammation accelerates muscle loss. Tame it with better sleep, gut health, smart exercise, and anti-inflammatory nutrients. Targeted micronutrients, magnesium, B12, creatine, and trace minerals are foundational to muscle function and energy metabolism. Preserve neuromuscular junctions. Coordination-based movement, cognitive engagement, and nerve-supportive compounds keep the brain-to-muscle connection strong. Progressive resistance training, the gold standard for maintaining muscle, bone density, balance, and overall vitality in later life. The path forward. Here's the most important takeaway. You don't need to implement all 7 habits at once. You just need to start with one. Choose the habit that feels most manageable for you today. That could be adding a protein-rich breakfast, taking a brisk walk followed by 5 minutes of bodyweight squats, or starting your day with a 60-second cold shower. Small steps compound over time, and the body, even in its later years, responds powerfully to consistent effort. The choices you make today will shape how you move, feel, and live tomorrow. Which of these 7 habits are you already practicing? Which one surprised you the most? Do you know someone in their 70s or 80s who defies the norms of aging? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below and be part of the conversation. And if this message resonated with you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with someone you care about. Because growing older is inevitable, but growing weaker doesn't have to be.